Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to continue that series of going through all the parts. We're going to talk about the epic Titan parts today. Let's jump right in. As always, we'll quickly go through the parts. We'll find the Incarnate in the hall, then we're going to jump right into some gameplay. So the mind ability is called Barbican, body is called Bastion, and soul is called Rampert. Let's go to the hall and check it out. So to find this Incarnate, we're looking for that Titan portrait. We can tell it's all Titan parts by these red dots here. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the affinities. We've got a life affinity on Barbican. We've got a void affinity on Bastion. And we have a death affinity on Rampart. And because we have a different affinity on each of these parts, it's going to actually make this Incarnate the balance affinity. So that's where you can see here on the portrait, you have the balance affinity icon. So that's that Titan. So quickly taking a look at the judge model, he's got that huge hammer. He just bashes things like crazy. He's there to do damage, there to be tanky. He just does a huge amount of damage with a lot of his abilities. Pretty awesome hammer, pretty cool looking model, and I just love, again, coming out of this like pit of magma, just being forged out of this pit of magma. That's just amazing. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump into the gameplay. So we're gonna go into the waves here. We've got this Incarnate here that we're gonna be testing out. We're gonna bring in an ally just to show that the skill does work, and we'll go ahead and just jump right in there. All right, so let's take a look at the first ability. It's called Bastion. It's on the body part. That's what we're going to look at. So Bastion, for 3 turns, gain Giant and Aura 4. Whenever an ally is attacked, they gain Regen for 1 turn and counterattack. So you can see the highlight there is actually highlighting the aura that you're going to get. And you can see that this space out here was highlighted. So 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away. That's showing that the aura is going to be applied in that distance away from this Incarnate. So let's go ahead and use it. So there we go. We have my ally Incarnate. We've got the aura of Bastion. So whenever you're attacked, gain Regen and counterattack. And here's Giant. So Giant is a buff. It's 25% additional HP. And your range stat is increased by 1. And again, our range on this particular Incarnate is 2 right now. So pretty short range, but now it's going to go up to 3. We can verify that by going to our soul ability, and that's an attack-based ability, and it's going to be based on your range. So you can see that the highlight here is going 1, 2, 3 spaces out. So that range increase does work. And you can see that we also have the aura being applied for the 3 turns. Which it's supposed to do. So that's good. Let's go ahead and move on to the next skill. All right, the next skill we're going to use is called Barbican. It's on the mind slot. So allies in your presence gain Brave and Regen. Apply Root and Burn to enemies in your presence for 2 turns. So it's going to be a buff to our allies and a debuff to our enemies. So let's use it and see what happens. And again, it's based on the presence. So our presence is 3. So we know that we're going to hit that ally because there's 1, 2, 3 spaces there. We know we're going to hit the enemy because they're within that 3 spaces as well. So just pay attention to the presence stat on that particular ability. Let's go ahead and take a look at the buffs that we got. So we got Brave. You have +1 presence and 50% additional defense. So your presence is increased. If we highlight over the Barbican ability again, that's based again on our presence, and our base presence is 3, but we can see that 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces are highlighted. So that's definitely working. We also get Regen. You heal 10% of HP per Regen you have at the start of your turn. So 10% is coming back every time you start your turn. So our ally here should heal 10%. We'll check that out on the next turn. And we also have Giant, which we've already gone over, so we won't go over that again. Let's go ahead and end our turn and watch for the next attack on our ally to see if they counterattack, because we do have this Bastion, and see if they do get that regen from the Barbican buff. So we're going to end there. We don't need to use our abilities. So here's the attack. All right. So there's no counterattack there. I just want to let you know from that perspective, Bastion, there's already a known bug that there's no counterattack. So just be aware of that when you're playing the alpha, but it's going to be fixed. The counterattack is going to be based on your range stat. So as long as you're within range, you will counterattack. We have seen it worked on other abilities that have counterattack, but for whatever reason, Bastion is not working. But again, it's a known bug that we've already communicated to the developers. We did see that regen tick as well, so that's working just fine. So let's go ahead and move on to the last ability here. So the last ability we have here is called Rampart. Attack target enemy, then attack them 2 more times. Really simple, just a beast of a damage dealing ability. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move and get behind this and enemy Incarnate, get a little bit more crit rate and damage, and go ahead and use it. So it just absolutely smacked, hit for 3 times, and it's actually a really fun ability when you start pairing it with some of the Eternals, because you can actually drive the enemy down multiple spaces with Meteor Smash. Then there's a couple other ones that are fun as well. But that just, it's a huge damage dealing ability. It is single target, but if you want to get rid of an enemy quick, it's a really good skill to go with. All right, so that should do it for all the abilities. All right, so just a quick one on the Titan epic parts. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to toss that like. If you like the content in general, a subscribe would help. Helps grow the channel. Which of these abilities were your favorites? Let me know down below in the comments. Again, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one and continuing this whole content creation for Incarnate.